Hi, and welcome to Shia's Room. I am Beverly Briggs, your host, and tonight, well, this time we are going to do things a little different. I want to say hi to everyone wherever you are, at whatever time it is right now. By me, it's evening time, and so you may hear me alternate between saying evening and good night. But wherever you are, tune in. Whether it be daytime, it be nighttime, morning. Welcome to Shire's Room. Tonight is a little different. I want to make things a little different as I'm not doing any interview tonight. I just want to sit down and have a conversation with you. The topic that I want to talk on is T focus. T focus. Now, guys, I right now have to be telling myself, stay focused. I try my very best when Tuesday comes to relax and to get into this thing with, a relaxed mind. But today was a hectic day for me, and so I am a bit tired, and I know that I'm talking to people who know what that is all about. But nonetheless, I still want to spend a little time with you and have a little chat with you on staying focused. Now, uh, stay focused. Let me have a little acronym. And the acronym is stand, take action. Your faith only cause unique stability. Stand, take action. Your faith only cause unique stability. So many times, in fact, I sent out a quote sometime, I think was last week, which talked about not being getting caught up with labels or being labeled. Oh, we shouldn't even be labeling others as much as we do. We have so many different labels. This one fat, this one ugly, or even with there are a lot of dysfunctions, and disabilities that we have labeled. And I had an experience. Now, I don't think I ever shared this live. And this is something that I want to share live with you right now. But before I do, I just want to remind you, viewers, I love it when you are part of the program. So drop in your comments, leave your name, ask a question if you would like to make a statement or be part of this little discussion that we are going to have at this point in time, right? And so I had the opportunity of going on this program, Exhaling with Regina. And it was a wonderful program in a way. I was with two other ladies and the host, Regina, and we were talking. And I had the opportunity to listen while I wasn't speaking. And they were using words really, really, eloquent words to me. They sounded so eloquent, big words. And I was like, wow, you know, I wish I could use those kinds of words. I wish that I could express myself in this kind of way because to me, there are words that just sound eloquent. It don't have to just be big words. But when you're speaking on a certain topic, there are words that not necessarily known by everybody, but they just sang songs really eloquent in its place. Now, what I was going to share with you is that I am dyslexic. I have dyslexia. And so that for me, words is sort of a problem. I can see things a little back to front. Sometimes I even give my statement back to front. And so, but I am not as bad as some persons are. And because of that, sometimes I do forget that I have dyslexia. But I had the opportunity to host a meeting, and I was trying to call out a name of someone who I was supposed to interview. And for those of you who are on with me right through, you may remember the guy that I interviewed, uh, Leon Walker, who was a narcissistic person. Hi, Kay, 34129. Nice to have you logged in. Good night to you too. And thanks, by God's grace, I will keep up the great job. And yes, so while having this meeting, I wanted to say who he was to the persons I was having the meeting with. And the only thing that was coming into my head was Noel. Deep down in my heart, I knew Noel wasn't his name, but that was all I was seeing. Noel, Noel. So eventually I said, let me go and look him up, see what his name is. And when I looked him up, it was actually Leon. And one of the persons there in the meeting said, do you recognize that is, you were saying Noel, and Noel is Leon, spelled back to front. And these are the times where I am reminded that I have dyslexia. And I sat down there and I reflected and I remembered being on that show and wishing that I could use these words. Now, problem is, it's not that I don't know words. The problem is sometimes I misuse them or mispronounce them. And so that when they come to me, I try to avoid them and use small words. But, when that came back to me, I remember going and do a research on dyslexia. And one of the things they were saying, persons who have dyslexia, usually when they're writing, they have to sit down with a dictionary to make sure that they are getting the correct words, to make sure that the words are spelled correctly. And that came back to me. And then another thought came to me. I remembered a couple of years telling God, I want to be in that place where I meet people, the small man, as we call them, and I'm not just using that word, the persons on the street, the persons that may not be as educated as others. I would always love to meet these persons because I felt like, so many times we get what we call educated, and then we forget that there are persons who can't understand certain words. They cannot, be able to understand what is being said to them. And I had to stop and think about it. Really, really think about it. God created us and He placed a desire in our heart. And with that desire, He allows things in our lives to be able to kind of keep us on that path. And sometimes we get so caught up with these labels that we see as negative, that we do not see what God is doing in our life. Uh, Me being dyslexia um, has been the thing that have helped me to fulfill that desire to be able to talk, and everyone to be able, even a child, could be able to understand what I am saying. And even this week, I was talking to a friend, and then I was saying, a friend, there's a time when our prayer can become a distraction, and we lose focus as to what our purpose and what the desire that God has for us. And I said, we don't understand what to pray for. It's the spirit with groaning that prays on our behalf. And sometimes we find ourselves so much praying against these things that we think is negative in our life that we do not see. the positive that could come out of it. And hence the reason I say stand, take action. Your faith only cause unique stability. When I go on with other persons, there's something unique about me. And one of the things that caused me to be so unique is being dyslexia, or dyslexic, uh, suffering with dyslexia, where I am not able to always read the way I would like to read or remember words the way I like to remember words. But I could understand and feel the experience of a situation. And I could connect through experiences. You know, you hear so much bad things about dyslexia. And while reading, I discovered that one thing about persons who suffer from dyslexia, they are very intelligent. So let me read what they said about dyslexia. It's a common learning difficulty that can cause problems with reading, writing, and spelling. It's a specific learning difficulty, which means it causes problems with certain abilities used for learning, such as reading and writing. Unlike a learning disability, intelligence is not affected. So we have problems with reading, and we have problems with writing, and we have problems with spelling, but intelligence is not affected. And actually, what it was saying is that when I read further on, is that persons with dyslexia are very good at solving problems. Now, I'm talking about dyslexia, and the reason why I'm speaking about dyslexia is because this is what I am facing. But you may be facing something else. You may be facing something else. I don't know what it is. And I just want to say to us, whatever it is you are facing at this point in time, whatever you are labeled as, whether it be a slow learner, whether it be as being slow on a whole, whether is it is having some other learning disability as it is called. Find out what are the positives and thrive on the positive. I have had someone close to me look at me and said, you know what, I am better than you because I am educated and I am pushing towards my education and you are not. No, I always say it. Education excites me, but school frustrates me. And the truth is, I love education. I am in love. I spend all the time that I could spend educating myself on a lot of things. But when I go to school, I am a bit frustrated. My head gets heavy and it's not quite easy as it is for some. And it's not a reason to say not to go to school, please. It's not a reason. But I'm saying, whatever the circumstances, find the good in it and keep focused on your purpose and move towards your purpose. You may not have a degree like some do, but it is you may learn differently. I don't learn in a class. I learn through experience. I learn through um, seeing people do things. That's how I learn best. And it's up to me to make sure that I stay educated. It's up to me to make sure that I keep learning. It's up to me to make sure that I keep building myself and not be able to sit down and have throw a pity party because I have what is labeled as a learning difficulty. Stay focused. be able to see the good out of the things that are not so good. You know, I have a I did my vision board a couple of years ago, and I have a quote that is on my vision board and say, avoid social compromise. Most of our insecurities come from comparing our behind the scenes with other people's highlight reels. Don't compare yourself with anyone. We shouldn't be compared. Everyone is unique, unique in your own way. And even though the way you learn might be different, the way you operate might be different, you, the way you function might be different. Don't allow for others to tell you that you're out of place. Keep focused on who you are. Keep focused on what God has placed in your heart, the desire that God has placed in your heart, and know that if He allows something in your life, He allows it for a purpose. He says He can turn anything around for the good of those who love Him. Anything good. He can turn anything around for good for those who love Him. And that is so true based on my education as to in what I have on paper. I probably shouldn't be doing what I'm doing today because there's unspoken rules out there. But it's up to us as a society to stand up for ourselves and to take action and to allow our faith to bring out the uniqueness and the unique stability that God has placed in us. Roseanne Baptiste, thank you for being on. And God, you should see, say God has a purpose for the challenges in our life, and He truly does. He truly does. Listen, I was so shocked when I sat down there that day and God spoke to me and He said, listen, I allow you to be dyslexic for a reason, to honor a desire that I have placed in your heart. And to me, that was so was a great revelation. And I just want I'm not staying on long tonight. Some of you probably could hear it in my voice. I am a bit tired. But I just needed to tell you that because it was on my heart, because I know there are so many persons out there that are lost, so many persons who are frustrated because they don't feel like if they fit in. My mother is on and she's saying never give up. And she and I had a conversation the other day. She said, if one thing I found out in life is that I don't fit in, I'm not like others. And we had that conversation and I asked her a question. I said, Ma, how much puzzle pieces do you see that are identical? I said, you are a piece of a puzzle. And she said, because her answer was none. And I said, you are a piece of a puzzle. You were never meant to look like everybody. You are unique. And it's when persons are wrong, you recognize their uniqueness. Recognize that God has a purpose on their life. Recognize that it's not about following the herd. Then you will be able to fit in because we each would be in our right position. So you may not feel like if you fit in. And you may be struggling with one thing or the other, but God has a purpose on your life. Try and stay focused. In fact, I said, try is not a word I like to use. Try is not a word. Stay focused. Stay focused on the positives. Today I have a friend that I have had for years. Today he's celebrating his birthday. And there's one thing that he taught me. He said, we live with benefits. And when he started to say it, I didn't understand what he meant. And today I understood when I chose to live a life of, with an attitude for gratitude or gratitude for yeah, this is what I'm speaking about. Having my sentences wrong side or back to front. We have an attitude for gratitude. When you take on an attitude for gratitude, you are able to see the benefits, you are able to see the positives, you are able to stand regardless. And so I'm just encouraging you tonight, this evening, morning, whatever, wherever you are, whatever time it is, if you are feeling frustrated and you're feeling downcast and you are faced with some negative verdict, some negative label, there is always a positive to it. Again, I found out that I would always have a problem with reading, writing, and spelling. But I found out that I'm intelligent and that I'm good at solving problems. And that's what I'm going to live with. What is the positive things that you can live with to be able to keep pushing forward in your purpose? Again, I'm reminding you to stay focused. Stand, and you're standing for yourself. You're not just standing, you got to take action. And when you take action, faith without works is dead. So that action is a faith step. And I would like to join Hussam when he says faith means full assurance in the heart. So you have a full assurance in the heart that you were born with a purpose and there is a plan on your life. And then you, it only calls you to understand your uniqueness and embrace your uniqueness, and become stable in this life. I am Beverly Briggs reminding you your future, all future belongs to us. Kay and Roseanne Baptiste, thank you for tuning in, and anyone else who tuned in with me. I know there were others that were tuned in because I can see the viewers. You may not have commented, but thank you for tuning in with me. Next week, Tuesday, we are going to continue with our normal program. Next week, Tuesday, we would have Fanny Tani on with me. And she is a coach. When she came on, we had a little internet problem, a little Wi-Fi problem that caused us to have to cancel the program. But she is going to be on next week with me. So I am looking forward to be back on with you next week with the regular program. Do have a blessed one.